In this video, I'll explain how to build a perfectly play-free steering. So let's start off with the optional aluminum steering arm, which I have here. I'm gonna just build it on one side, and then you can repeat the process for the other side. So I'm just gonna demonstrate it on one side of the steering. So between the bearings on the servo arm, on the steering arm, we have a little shim which was added to the kit for the T419 car. So this shim has been added here to minimize play between the two bearings, and this helps a lot to take away some play. But still, when you put the arm onto the post, there can be a bit of play upwards and downwards because especially when the aluminum wears, it helps to add a tiny shim 0.05 or 0.1 millimeter in between the post and the bearing on the arm. You may need to readjust this as the parts wear, but sometimes also from brand new it helps to remove some play. So I put that shim there. I then use a optional X-ray screw on top to remove play between the top bearing and the screw. And I use a 0.1 millimeter 3 millimeter shim between the screw and the post to make sure it's got completely free movement. I've listed all these types of shims in the video. So this looks really nice, and it removes any play in this direction, so it's super free, but it's got no play. And the next step is to use steel screw between the Ackerman plate and the steering arm. But how can we get rid of excess play between these two parts? There's a really good solution which I'm going to demonstrate. You can add tiny shims between the screw and the tiny bearing in the Ackerman plate. So when you put the screw in here, it's gonna be a little bit of play in there, and this can easily be fixed by using these tiny shims. 3 millimeter inside diameter, 5 millimeter outside diameter shims. In this case, I've added 0.6 millimeters of height because it's just right for this particular steering I have here, but you may need to readjust the amount of shims depending on the play you have. So if you don't add enough shims, it's gonna bind up. If you add too much, you're gonna have too much play. So you simply have to fine-tune this till you get it right. But before we do this, we're gonna add a little bit of medium strength thread lock to there, because it's an aluminum part and it can come loose. We just thread this in here, get rid of the excess fluid. As you can see, it's got very little play in this direction. You can actually tighten it more. Make sure it's still got free movement. That to me is the best way to build a play-free steering, by the simple use of shims and the optional screw from X-Ray.